everyone, Tommy P back with another Naturally Obsessed look into basketball. If you're new to the channel, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's video. And as I always like to preface by saying, I am not a basketball expert. I'm just a fan who's naturally obsessed. And in today's video, I kind of want to, now that some time has passed since the Phoenix Suns season ended, very disappointed with how their season ended, to say the least, as a fan of not only the Phoenix Suns, but as a basketball fan. You know, like, you want to see the best teams match up against each other in the finals. And I believe right now we're there. I do believe that we were watching the two best teams go at it. But obviously, the Suns had the best record in the NBA this season, overwhelmingly the best record. And we didn't really see the weakness in their game until it mattered most. So some huge deficiencies in their game were exposed by not only the Mavericks, but kind of in the first round series against the Pelicans as well. And there are a lot more questions than answers about the future of the Phoenix Suns and where they go from here. As a fan who has watched the entire ride of his career, the highs that we've seen the last 2 years, but also the lowest of lows for the first 4 years of his career, Devin Booker, dealing with a lot of criticisms about Devin Booker and his status as an elite NBA player. I don't think anyone's going to question right now that he's a top 15 to 20 player. I think that's ridiculously low, but I think even if you're a harsh critic of Devin Booker, even you could acknowledge, yeah, he's a top 15 to 20 player. Me personally, I have him right now. I would love to say I have him top 10 as I did for the vast majority of the year, but I think with the emergence of Jason Tatum, I shouldn't say emergence of Jason Tatum, but I think with the fantastic playoff run Jason Tatum has had to this point, I think he has fairly surpassed Devin Booker and secured a spot in the top 10. But Booker, for me, somewhere in the 11 to 12 range. And I think if you disagree with that and think he's a top 10 player, I understand wholeheartedly. I mean, he finished 4th this year in MVP voting, was all NBA first team. So that goes to show, not that he's a top 5 player in the league, but he had one of the 5 best seasons in the league this year. So, because of that, Devin Booker is now eligible for a Supermax extension, which I believe is $211 million extension over 4 years. So he currently has 2 more years left on his current deal. I have the notes right here. Next year, he's going to be making $33.8 million. And in 2023, 2024, he's going to be making $36 million. So the Supermax contract is a lot. It's not, you're not allocating your money around. You know what? You're not spreading it around. You're allocating 35% of your salary cap to one player. And for the Suns, as a bad team, when Devin Booker signed his rookie max extension, it was a no-brainer. Devin Booker was clearly far and away the best player on that terrible Phoenix Suns team, and it was viewed that you can build around him for the future. And they did. That's why they've had the emergence they have. Obviously, Chris Paul was probably the key ingredient to that, getting the most out of all that young talent they tried to build around Devin Booker. But Devin Booker, I don't want anyone to make any mistake about it. Chris Paul is not the reason Devin Booker has been so great these last 2 years. Devin Booker was putting up this kind of offensive numbers without Chris Paul. The previous 2 years without Chris Paul, he averaged 26.6 points per game. And the first year with Chris Paul, he took a step back. I believe it was 25.8 points per game. But the difference is And a lot of people are going to be like, well, yeah, of course he's going to score a lot. There was no one else on the team. There was no this. He's probably taking a whole bunch of... No. His shots per game was a career high this year. So his efficiency went up with Chris Paul. There's no question about that. But it's not like he was taking 10 more shots a game without Chris Paul. No, he was shooting about the same. I think this year he averaged one more shot a game than he ever has. So that's a common, it's ignorance. I'm trying to find a nice way to say it. It's ignorance when you're trying to critique Devin Booker's game. It really is. And another critique that I can't stand, because when he first got into the league, probably up until Monty Williams got here, it was definitely true about the defensive efficiencies in his game. There was little to no effort from Devin Booker on that part. And people are still trying to use that against him. And it's just not the case. It's not the case at all. For those of you watching this right now, rolling your eyes at me when I say that, this is a fact. And you cannot argue facts. I understand some stats can be swayed a little bit to make a case, but this is just a fact, and do with this what you will. You're probably not going to change your mind. That's fine. I really don't care. But this year, Devin Booker had a 108.8 defensive rating, which was the best defensive rating among all qualified shooting guards. Defensive rating isn't the end-all be-all. Don't get me wrong about that. And I'm not trying to say that this means Devin Booker was the best defensive shooting guard in the NBA this year. I'm not trying to say that at all. All I'm trying to say is if Devin Booker wasn't making massive strides as a defensive player, there's no way in hell he would have led the league in defensive rating among shooting guards. There's no way in hell. So, you have Devin Booker, who still is getting better each year. Undeniable. He's getting better each year. And a lot of people, I've heard a lot of the national media, I've made some videos kind of regarding the topic on what went wrong for the Suns. And I think it's absolutely ridiculous to say Devin Booker is a number 2 in this league. Absolutely ridiculous. And some of you watching this are probably thinking, oh, he is. It's ridiculous, but whatever. You're going to think it's kind of like politics. Once you have your mind made up, there's no changing it, no matter what numbers or facts you throw out there. But, and I'm not trying to say it's a fact Devin Booker's number 1. Don't get that. I'm just trying to say, no matter what I say, it's probably not going to change your mind, and I'm okay with that. But what this is a lot of people are saying, oh, he's a number 2. Look in the Mavericks series. He couldn't create his own shot. Devin Booker, for almost the entirety of his career, because until he got Chris Paul, Ricky Rubio to a certain extent, but until he really got Chris Paul, Devin Booker never played with a top-tier point guard or ball distributor that could get him the ball in the spots he likes. Devin Booker's made his career creating his own shot. The reason he struggled against the Mavericks were because if you watched the damn games, who besides Jay Crowder was creating consistent offense those final 2 games for the Phoenix Suns? When no one else is getting anything going offensively, it's very easy for a defense, and in Game 7, the Mavericks did this entirely. Their defense was built entirely around stopping Devin Booker. They were blitzing him, double-teaming him. Every time Booker got the ball in his hands, he was pressured. Booker commands a tremendous amount of respect defensively from teams. He just does. So, just throwing some facts out there about numbers and them showing Booker is progressively getting better, and do with that what you will. The question though, now that I'm sharing this, some of you are probably going to ignore everything I just said and still say, no, he's not worth it, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, ridiculous, but okay. Do the Phoenix Suns give Devin Booker the Supermax contract. And again, $211 million over 4 years. It would start in the 2024-2025 season. And over those 4 years, he'd go from $47.1 million, $50.8 million, $54.6 million, $58.4 million. Do you do it? Because I understand the arguments for and against it, because you look at other Supermax players that, and I'm not even gonna entertain conversations that Booker is better than these guys, you know, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, but I always say this when it comes to arguments about deserving things. I think there's a strong difference between what you deserve and what you've earned. Perfect example is in college football this year. The Cincinnati Bearcats. Did they deserve to be in the college football playoff? I understand they went undefeated and whatnot, but the quality of competition, because really, if you think about it, Cincinnati all year long really beat one good team, and that was when they beat Notre Dame. Whereas you had other teams that were Power 5 schools, much tougher schedules, much tougher competition, and they lost out because Cincinnati. I personally don't think Cincinnati deserved to be there. But because they went undefeated, because it was so close the year before also when the argument was being made, oh, should Cincinnati have made it in? Forget if they deserve it. They earned the right to be in the college football playoff. So my question is not, does Devin Booker deserve this Supermax extension? Has he earned it? And the one thing I want you to try to just get out of your head, because I'm on the same page with you. Winning is what matters in sports. It's what matters. And the fact that the Suns made it to the finals and fell short and got ousted early this year, you have to ask yourself, how much of that falls on Devin Booker? And as the leader of the team, because make no mistake about it, Chris Paul provides great leadership to this team. I think he's the most important player on this team, the one who makes the whole thing go. But this is Devin Booker's team. And do not try to argue that with me if you're not a Phoenix Suns fan, because you don't know. You're at Phoenix Suns games. Devin Booker's the last one introduced in the starting lineup, and he receives the loudest ovation over any player. The players on this team love and respect Devin Booker more than anyone on this team. Phenomenal locker room presence and leadership, and the fans know this is our guy. So please, let me know in the comments down below. I already know, even though I said don't come at me with the does he deserve it, you're going to anyway. So comment down below, please let me know if Devin Booker deserves, or more importantly, if he's earned the right to a Supermax contract extension. And I appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Let me know what you thought about today's video, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks, guys.